Here we are, FeNIX and I, at sea in the South Pacific, en route from the Galapagos to the Marquises Islands. It's a beautiful day, virtually no clouds. So as you can see, the seas are running, every once in a while as much as 8 feet, but normally about 6 feet, the biggest ones. It's a gentle breeze, 12 tops 15 knots from the southeast, and we're headed almost due west. So again, here we are sailing along, catching a wave. Oh, here comes a good one. Whoa, rounding up into the wind a little bit. Okay, off we go again. Catch a little one there. This looks like a pretty good one. Oh, no. Well, I think the squall is pretty much starting to fizzle out now. Well, here we are, sailing along again. As you can see up forward, that's about to the west-northwest. And around the horizon, there's a lot of little rain squalls around. Here we are sailing along on Sunday morning, the 2nd of July. Beautiful trade winds in the South Pacific. Just had a bit of a squall line go through, and waves got up pretty high, and the boat was just screaming along, almost on the edge of being out of control. But now conditions have tamed down quite a bit, and the wind's dropped off, maybe back down to around 15, 18 knots. I've got the drifter up and the full mainsail, and as you can see, there's the self-steering arrangement. In addition to that, I've got a small storm jib hooked up sheet to tiller to provide a little extra weather helm, because I've really got the boat over canvassed a little bit for these conditions. But I like to push it a little so I get really good performance. I just had 4 days runs, average of it's about 145 miles a day, or 6 knots. And yesterday afternoon the wind went light, so that average has dropped down, and I'm trying to gain some of it back again. As you can see, a beautiful deep blue ocean. Sun's just rising. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Little white caps out there bouncing around. And these are some shots of the boat underway, just to give you an idea what it's like. Still, I'm averaging pretty close to 6 knots, and the boat's pretty close on course. It's bearing off a little bit right now. In other words, the course is going a little bit too far to the west, but it'll come back. You can hear the sound of the water and see all the little waves. It doesn't look so bad looking forward like this. We'll pan back this way. You see, you don't see any real big swells right now anyway, but they're all out there and they're constantly coming this way. So right now, for a couple minutes, the boat will sail along on a pretty even keel. Doesn't heel very much, only about 10 degrees, until one of those big old waves comes like that, or until we get a puff in the wind, which we're getting right now. You can hear the boat surf a little bit on the waves. lots of wildlife out here, all kinds of little flying fish and birds and dolphins and things like that. Here we are underway again. One of the reasons I was so adamant about bonding the hull and the deck together with fiberglass, as you can see, the foredeck and even the windward deck here is not dry. It hasn't been dry since I left the Galapagos. That sail bag up on the foredeck houses the staysail, and it's soaking wet. It's been that way virtually since the time I left. A lot of water on deck, also on the lee deck. And it just makes life much more comfortable below if we keep the salt water out as much as possible. Of course, on a small boat, that's hard to do 100%. Also, the reason that I made the riggings very heavy duty on the whole boat is so I know confidently I can drive the boat under these kind of conditions, not just for an afternoon sail, but for hours and days and even weeks on end without having to worry about anything breaking. Because the closest land to me is probably South America. That's almost 1,600 miles to the east, a long ways away, and all upwind, of course. The Marquises are about 1,400 miles west, but drifting there under a jury rig wouldn't be any fun. This is Thursday morning, July 6th. I just passed the halfway point to the Marquises about midnight, my local time, last night. This is some shots to give you an idea what it's like out in the trade winds in the South Pacific Ocean. There are 4 distinct patterns of waves out here. The hardest one to see is the southwest swell that comes up from the Great Southern Ocean. The period between the crests is about 2 minutes, and they're very smooth, although probably 8 foot high. A little hard to detect. Now, of course, here I'm sailing with the wind from the southeast, so the southeast winds generate this about a 4 to 6 foot wind waves. Winds blowing anywhere from a light of 15 to a strong of 20 knots. The ones that drive the boat crazy and make it difficult for the self-steering are the southerly swells that run up to 8 feet and the easterly swells that run up to 8 feet. Now you can see that one there is coming. That's out of the south. See, it comes 2, and then there'll be a bunch of small ones and then 2 big ones again. What that does is it makes the boat roll real hard to starboard, which of course makes the boat want to turn up into the wind. And here we are some more. That's from the south again. And you can see that one that just went by from left to right is from the east. So normally the boat will sail along quite well. The wind vane, the self-steering, holds it pretty close to my course, which right now is about 260 true. But when those big waves come up and roll the boat hard to starboard, or they come up under the port quarter, they literally turn the boat 20 or 30 degrees sideways, like it almost did just then. But this is what it's like pretty much 24/7. My first week I did over 950 miles, and from 2 days ago, which was the 4th to the 5th, my noon to noon run was 161 miles. So I'm pushing the boat pretty hard right now. I've got full sail, mainsail and the Genoa. the boat is, I've been averaging for the last week right around 6 knots, 6.25, 6.5 knots, 24/7. I'm hoping I'll make the passage in under 22 days, which will be quite remarkable for a boat this size. As you can see, for the most part, the sky is quite clear. Some little puffball clouds over. Welcome to beautiful Virgins Bay. This is the island of Fatuhiva in the Marquises, one of my favorite spots in the Marquises. As you can see, the scenery is amazing. And that's one of my 2 rocks with the face in it, if you can see it there. And there's another face that's pretty distinct in that rock too. Those are both natural formations. The island hasn't changed much. There's a little bit more buildup in town. And that breakwater has been added since the last time that I was here. It's late in the season, so there are not many boats coming through here anymore. One boat just arrived from the Galapagos. That's it over there. And there's another boat off the port behind me. But I can't shoot over there because the sun is shining. These big magnificent peaks. And of course, back in there is the main valley where most of the folks live. Oh, I'm still recording. Well, that's good.